lead singer named Justin Moore.
We don't do a whole lot of bullshitting up here. We just get up here and play country music.
The Justin Moore Podcast is sponsored by Bobcat. Visit them at bobcat.com.
Check 1 2.
What's up?
Hey, buddy. I think I got everything working. You know, we talked about
Who knows?
how we weren't very good at this ever to start with, never got good, and then after summer break, it's like, gracious, I'm about to call Cody, get a tutorial. But anyway, no, I'm good. I think I got everything
refresher.
Yeah, right. I got everything blinking and flashing, so I'm good. What's up, everybody? JR the Handler here. That's Justin Cole Moore. What's up, JM?
Man, two weeks in a row, back to back. We told y'all we were back for good. Thought we had a really good guest for y'all this week, but we had to push it back because of vacation. Not ours, theirs.
Yeah.
But we'll fill you in on that. But not a whole lot, man. I'll dive. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I know we talked about it texting yesterday. Big week around home this week for you guys. Kiddos going back to school. Yeah,
I've got that written down. Emotional week, tough week, kind of for me personally.
Oh, I bet.
So I'm sure we have a lot of parents out there listening who have dealt with, dropping their kids off at kindergarten, and I've done it now 4 times, but it's, and I'm the one in our relationship, speaking of my wife and myself, that I'm emotional. I'm soft as Charmin. I can cry at the drop of a hat. Everything to me is, I don't know, the last this and the last first thing and I'm just real sentimental. Kate's less that way. She internalizes it more, but so I'm sure there are some others who experienced this before, and maybe even this particular week or this year, maybe last week, next week, something like that. But my youngest started kindergarten, and my oldest started junior high. So it was pretty emotional for both, for me. And junior high, that's a big deal too. You're in a whole different building. You're having to get from class to class, and it's not just go to this class and you're there with one teacher all day or whatever. It's, you got to look at your schedule and the bell rings and you got, 5 minutes to get to the next class or whatever. So, and Ella, our oldest, for those out there watching and listening, which thank you, by the way, for watching and listening, or one or the other. But she's pretty, she's kind of a worrywart as it is. So she was scared. Like I don't know where I'm going. Which is,
she don't want to get in trouble for nothing. She wants to do
no,
what
she
she's
wants
supposed
to be perfect, do perfect. But she made it really good. So as we're taping this is their second day of school. So, of course, the other girls are pretty excited to go back, see their friends. We've been gone all summer, and so they're in 3rd and 5th grade. Don't want to leave them out. But they had less change,
Yeah, Ken could care less what she's doing. She's like, I'll go to school, I'll stay at home, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And she's kind of the social butterfly, so she's excited to go back anyway. But
Ella at that age too. I mean, you're talking about doing some real schoolwork now. It's not just adding and subtracting anymore. You're talking about starting to get some real curriculum going.
And you add on top of it, man, that's an age range. She's 12, about to be 13. There's a lot of things happening in your life at that point. I won't go into the, details, but everybody knows where I'm going with that. And kids are changing all around them, and it's a different thing than elementary school. It just is.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons.
And you're watching the older kids. You're interacting with older kids all day and stuff.
Because you're in the same building at our school with maybe up to seniors, even.
Right.
So it was kind of a big day yesterday, and so we were nervous all day. How did Ella do? She come home. She did great. She had a really good day, and so we were like, oh, thank God. It went well. She found our classes, and she even mentioned that she thinks she's a day in, but that she thinks she enjoys 7th grade is what she's in more than elementary because they have a little more freedom, which I guess I can see that.
Yeah.
And then so South walks out yesterday, and we're doing the first day pictures and the whole bit, and first day of school pictures, and he comes up and hugs me. I sent you the picture, and I just start boo-hooing. And Ella comes out. She's like, why are you crying? I said, I did it with you, too. I've cried with all y'all on your first day of school. But I had a rough day, man. It was brutal. I mean, he did really good, but he came home, and he's a character for those out there who obviously don't know him. He's just kind of a trip. And he's a young 5. He just turned 5 in June, so we could have held him back a year, or we could have put him in, and Kate is sold 100% that we made the right choice. I'm kind of up in the air, but part of that is me being selfish, knowing I'll never get this year back, and I just miss him. I mean, because he hangs out with me all day. If we were, for example, you guys don't always see it, but when we're doing the podcast, sometimes he's just sitting in the floor playing with his toys, and or when I'm doing my radio show in the morning, he's just sitting here playing with toys or watching my phone or whatever. And so I'll show you an example. Yesterday, there's usually toys all in my floor. And yesterday I kept looking down because I was in my office doing press all day. And I'm like, it just made me sad. So I'll show you guys. So this was in my floor all day, is T-Rex. And every time I look down, I just start crying. Literally start crying.
Because he's not there to play with it anymore.
Because he's not there, right there playing in the floor. And but he got home, and he's kind of funny, as you know. And I'm like, hey, because his mom had said, if you go to school, because he didn't want to go, obviously, I'll get you a surprise. Which is a Dollar General transformer or something, And so
jokers love Dollar General.
Oh yeah, especially him. So he gets home, and I go, dude, how was your day, man? Like, you got to tell me how to go. And he goes, I'm not talking about it because Mom won't give me my surprise. And so 5 minutes later, he's asleep on the couch for 2 hours. So he was sacked out.
Tuckered out.
Fast forward to this morning, everybody did good except he is hell bent. He is not going. He is staying with Dad. Period. I'm not going back. And so he walks in my office when I'm doing the show this morning at like 6:30, and he just clings to me. Like, he will not. I mean, I go to the bathroom, I go make a cup of coffee, whatever. He's hiding from his mom because he knows she's gonna make him go. And I'm like, Kate's like, you're enabling this, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I mean, he's literally bawling and squalling and going, Daddy, please I just want to stay with you, Daddy. Please, you're my favorite. It's like, it breaks your heart, man. And I'm sure there are parents out there probably going, yep, I know it exactly, or they're laughing at me. It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, it's tough to let your kids grow up, I guess. And especially when they're that young and knowing he's our last one. And I know, I'm like, that's it. I mean, there are no more. I mean, we obviously have the rest of their lives, but it was long-winded intro here. But, boy, it's been an emotional, rough week for me so far.
And to think, for a long time, you didn't even like him.
Well, some of that was just me picking.
I know, I'm kidding, and I'm giving you a hard time because I'm that way too. I'd already got mine in when your dad had sent me the group photo yesterday morning, but I can only imagine, man. Because even when we got home from the road the other day, we were walking in, and he comes running right up to you, and he's got his church shirt on, his hair's fixed, and he's got maybe socks and shoes and just underwear, no pants or shorts, and he runs up, Dad. and he's telling you there was a raccoon in the garage or something. And
Yeah,
I mean, he could not
what it was.
wait for you to get there and you to tell him. And you know, the others used to do that some, but I can tell that's your man now, and he's the last one.
Yeah.
And like you said, being there with you lately, but he'll get, you know, when I asked him the other day, was he excited to see his friends? He kind of was. He wasn't really. The other ones were more talkative about ready to go back to school than he was. He was like, hey, let me show you this toy. Have you seen this toy? He didn't really want to talk about it, really.
Yeah, he could take it or leave it. I mean, he loves his buddies, but he sees them at church, and he sees them at, you know, playing t-ball. And
Right.
So he's at the point now. He's like, I'll see them later. I just want to stay home with you.
I know.
And so it's been a weird couple of days. I mean, good. They're, you know, they had a couple of good days so far. They're not quite home yet, but
and then he's
I don't know.
and he's got to rest up too because he's going on the road with us to Missouri for the fair this weekend or the rodeo this weekend.
Yeah, he's going to be. I guess we'll take off here in a couple of days, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe send JR some of your experiences, maybe this year, maybe years prior, and see if you're more like. I'd be curious to know if there's more people like me, his parents, or Kate, because she's just cold blooded. Like, all right, get in the car, we're going.
Yeah, my mom was like that too. My mom was like, here's your toast or your grilled cheese or your cereal or your whatever. Here's your whatever. You better hurry up because you got like 4 minutes.
Pat you on the rear end and says,
like,
take
you got
off.
4 minutes, and I'm dragging you in there, and you ain't, you know. I was kind of like you. That's what I love. Dad, like, Dad, please let me go to work with you and stand outside in the sun and, you know, anything besides go to school. But, you know, that's like you talking about Ella. She won't, you know, in having that space and time, if you're not up to no good, it's great to have some freedom because you know to use it well. But if you're a troubled youth like I once was, that spare time when you start picking up bad habits. But I know she's ready because she's ready to go back and make straight A's. You know her. She's ready to go back and make straight A's.
Yeah, she's very studious and she's I mean, I think I don't know if she's ever made a B. She might have made one. I think maybe in chemistry or something one time or science or something. But everybody did.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, she's a great student and
I made a
never have to tell her to do her work, never have to tell her to study, she just does it. Now a couple of the other ones, well, you got to stay on top of their rear end, so they'll get behind, and they won't even tell you. You'll be like, hey, just one night that you'll go, hey, do you have homework? And you'll open their folder. They're like, oh yeah, I think maybe, and you open their folder. They've had homework all damn week, and it's due on Friday. They ain't done any of it, and you're
right.
So it's like you got to sit there in the kitchen helping them for 3 hours to do their week's worth. See, I was good when I was a kid. I was like Ella.
Yeah.
I would come in, knock it out, boom, done with it, and didn't have to fool with it the rest of the day.
Right.
I bet you were just the opposite.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't even do it at all and show up and somehow
You were
talk
Kennedy.
my way out of it. Yeah. I wouldn't do it at all and then show up right beforehand and throw something together and make it work or something. I can remember talking about grades. I remember I made straight A's all the way up until like 3rd or 4th grade. I made a B in spelling, and I was like, it's rigged. I hate spelling. You don't need spelling anyway.
It's rigged.
And I'm still not a good speller, so I wish I'd have paid more attention. If you go back and tell your young selves like that, the Chesney Dean Dillon song, you know, a few things different, I would have definitely told myself, stop. Just stop. Enough's enough. Just stop. But
I was I was a good student too. I didn't. I don't know. It kind of came easy to me, I guess. And man, I was unlike you. I was always afraid of getting in trouble. I kind of like Ella. Like I'm like, I don't want anybody mad at me. I don't want to rock the boat. I just want to like everybody be happy with me and proud of me.
Right.
And kind of, I guess that's maybe goody two shoes or something, but it wasn't that. I just did. It's like now I drive the speed limit everywhere I go because I don't want to deal with getting a ticket. I just don't want to deal with.
Oh,
it.
me
like,
now and me back then is two different people. Oh yeah, now you know me. I'm buttoned up to the gills now. I ain't trying to do nothing to put myself in danger or harm's way. But back then I don't know. You know, maybe I don't know. Maybe
don't
it was
know
kind
that
of one of the things. I got in trouble in like kindergarten. I remember literally like the first day of kindergarten getting in trouble or something, and maybe getting a paddling or getting in trouble for something. And then after that, it was like, hell, it ain't that bad.
That was that was the only paddling I got, and I got it because I was like guilty by association. I didn't even do nothing.
Right.
And I was like, boy, after that, I'm not ever getting in trouble again.
Yeah.
I got suspended, I think, one time for something else that was just a weird something.
You were my buddy Daniel McGee. You were my buddy Daniel McGee in high school. One of my best buddies, but he wasn't trying to get none of my hoo-ha. He'd get right there on the line, and then he'd be like, "I'm out." He wasn't trying to deal with none of my
like
hoo-ha.
him though, I had buddies like you that were always into something.
Oh yeah.
And we got along, but I'm just like, I ain't going there. I don't know if my motivation was right, because I just wanted my parents to be happy with me. I didn't want to, shake, or rock the boat or whatever. It wasn't like, oh, do these things because this is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Is make good decisions and, big picture. It was just because I'm like, I don't want to hear my dad gripe or whip me on the ass or
Right.
So,
yeah. And who knows? That might have just been in my DNA to be mischievous and stuff. And I was 50-50. Or was it, parents fussing and fighting? I'm trying to show out to get their attention. Who knows? In hindsight, at 40 something, it's easy to look back and think. But when you're a kid, hell, you don't know nothing. You just running around on fire. Really, just hope you can keep it out. But yeah, that's talking about paddlings too. I'm sure any kids nowadays don't know what we're talking about. But yeah. I got paddling about every grade, about every semester. There's uncountable. Shout out to Elmore County High School. All my buddies, it didn't take much to get one back then either. You doing something wrong, coach would say, or teacher, whoever, anybody could give you licks. It'd be basically, you want suspension, you want out, you don't want to go to this, you want a lick, are you going to pay it, you going to sit down, and it was, usually you took the licks because they didn't tell your parents. You're like, all right, I'll take the licks and I get to go to practice and everything's okay. I get to play on Friday. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So for young people out there listening to JR's point, your teachers could spank you, literally spank you with a paddle. And so I still don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, you got maybe a few less hometown people you can trust teaching your kids nowadays. I don't know, but
there's too many
not
people
to disparage
now.
teachers, but
too many people now and stuff. Too many,
but
too many people. That's
it
was definitely part of my growing coming up for sure.
Big part of your youth.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, even my goody buddies, everybody got a lick at some point. Everybody did something just enough where you said,
talking too much in class or something.
Oh yeah, well, like you said, a guilty by association. I throw a lake party. Everybody finds out. A couple people who get busted that just breezed by, didn't drink a beer, didn't do anything, got a lick because for being there, or stopping by or doing whatever. But anyway,
that's funny. But
good times.
But anyway,
you got that.
So hopefully everybody's
few years when Ella starts trying to. They start having parties and stuff, and then you're like, where are you going now? Where exactly are you going?
Oh, I don't even want to.
Because you're out in the country like us. I'm sure y'all's parties were like ours. It wasn't at a club. It was at a dirt road or a field or
stuff like that.
A tree that was knocked down in a pasture or something, or a
four-wheeler riding all night. That's what we did. We camped out literally on the river or a creek, and we'd take our four-wheelers. I mean, this was all guys, 14, 15-year-old, and we'd just ride around all night on four-wheelers out in the woods. Didn't know where we were or were going. Didn't have phones. If we all broke down or all wrecked, nobody'd have any way of knowing where we were. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so, but it was just a different time then. You know, it was just like our parents talking about their childhood and, you walk to school by yourself or whatever. And, and so even then, when we were growing up, people started locking their doors a little more and stuff like that. And you heard, man, we never locked our house door or whatever.
Right.
And it was hard for us to fathom. But looking back now, when we grew up was, in my opinion, a way safer, better time than it is now. I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse.
I know, unfortunately. So well, that's about the same time, they started talking about the paddling thing. Some people would say, kids would say, my parents said you can't paddle me. And usually it was always the one who was the most trouble. That
Yeah,
said
you
they
had
can't.
to you had
one
to
that was-
sign consent.
They started
didn't you?
signing
Your
the thing
parents
and
did,
stuff.
yeah.
Before that, it was community though. You talked, everybody's parents would talk, and they knew the teachers and stuff. So it was okay. Yeah, if they and my dad, I told you a story about my dad. I got in trouble one time in the school bus, and my bus driver was telling my dad, Mr. D was telling my dad about me doing whatever I was doing, and he was going to do something. And my dad, and I'm thinking Dad's going to take up for me. Dad tells Mr. D, well, next time he does it, you give him a whooping and tell me when you get back, and I'll give him one too. We'll get him to quit. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Great.
Right.
But like I said again too, it was usually the ones that were the most trouble were the ones trying to not get to keep out, to getting it, and then you're like, well, damn, if their parents would keep them from being so crazy, they wouldn't need to get licks to start with.
Yeah, they need it
but
worse
same
than
with us
anybody.
too. Talking about that, and half the time when I was with my buddies, like my buddy Daniel McGee, that's a prime example. He and I and some other buddies, we'd go just find a spot out on the lake where no one was and set up, camp up, and fish all night. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd probably drink me a few beers and did this and that, but it wasn't like when I was with the other bunch over doing crazy stuff. But it was just
it wasn't
good.
a wild thing.
No.
It was just good, clean fun.
Yeah, bonfire, fishing. I mean, I grew up near a lake, so anything
Yeah.
with fishing was always fun. But
Yeah.
anyway,
So,
but that's
so anyway,
that's,
a good but emotional start to school, and
Yeah.
hopefully everybody out there's school year started off well. Send
Yeah.
send us some comments on that. I'd be curious to know
And pictures,
again how it is for you guys and your spouse, or
Yeah.
which one are you?
Yeah,
Me
if
or
anybody's
Kate?
got a good picture of them, like not with the kids looking great, but the one of them crying right after and that kind of stuff, send some
Yeah.
of those. Use the
That's
hashtag
funny,
Justin Moore
too.
Podcast. That's like Roger. You're talking about ways to get the kids going. I tell him my mom, she would get us up and going, and here's some food, get up, get going, brush your teeth. And but I was thinking about Roger, our guitar player Roger, talking about back in the day, Dolly. Could you imagine Dolly, Big Rog getting up and leaving, and Dolly getting Roger, trying to get him ready for school? She's got on Hank Jr.
Get
She's
up, get up.
now. She's smoking a cig. She's got Hank Jr. blaring in the kitchen.
Bocephus.
And then Roger squirt his little butt out there, and he start listening to that music. He start dancing and singing Hank Jr.
Smoke a cigarette.
Smoke a cigarette. He's
Probably.
have a beer.
At
He's
the
ready
third
for school.
grade. Oh man.
Oh,
That-
wears his little coal miner outfit.
oh yeah.
That's
Roger
good
Lee
stuff.
Coal Miner.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, and I'm sure and I can remember that Dad with the noise and the pans and just turn the radio up or something. I wonder if anybody does that, or is anybody like music? Some people do that. Get the right music going. It gets you up and rocking. I remember a buddy
Yeah.
of mine, Derek Cotton, I went to college with. Early in the morning, we'd have to get up and do stuff, turn stuff, and we'd all be just dragging, just ready, just do not want to do anything. He'd bounce right up and play like the loudest, like either hip hop or rock and
I
roll.
hate
what
those
was
people.
And I'm like, stop. And he's like, well, it ain't gonna get no better. Let's just go. Let's go. And he's all excited and dancing, and I'm just like, oh man.
Yeah, I hate people like that. I'm married to one.
Yeah.
She's
It was like
just
Joey
that-
used to be that way too. Joey used to
my-
bounce
oh my
up on him.
gosh.
Just
yeah,
go.
he's still like that.
Yeah, right.
I ain't never seen somebody so damn happy at 4 a.m. to go to the airport in my life. God love him.
Well, we got to see him this past weekend.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about that because
Yeah.
we were talking about the weather. You and I yesterday about how we're still in this heat belt. Everybody else is getting a little break, but basically from Missouri
Today
down
we
to-
got a break.
Do
Literally
you?
first day. We're in the upper 70s.
Oh wow!
After a high.
Y'all are
But
rocking then.
it rained all day till about now. So it's like a steamy kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's much better than 90s.
Yeah, we're right there in the high 80s today, which we're in a little breeze, a little overcast. It's not as bad as yesterday. Yesterday we were going to go out in the boat after I talked to you, and we got all the way there. We could feel the wind changing. Looked on the radar, storm coming. We got out there we didn't even go out. We went and ate something, and as we were finishing our meal at the marina, I mean, a storm came in, like the one of the
wow.
videos that we
Yeah.
watched in Destin. I mean, it wasn't. We didn't have a water spout like that, I don't think. But I mean, dark and some close lightning and heavy thunder. I mean,
Wow.
cracking, the lightning hitting, and then you hear stuff pop inside the house, like a little crackle from the TV
Wow.
or the microwave or something. Yeah, it was wild.
Matter of fact, it stormed here yesterday too. It's 2 days in a row. I forgot about yesterday. So, which we need the rain bad.
Right.
I know y'all don't. I think you said, but
Yeah, we're
man,
good.
we've been in a pretty much a drought all summer. So I'll take it, man.
Right.
And so.
Well, and I know I was going to talk about this because I was going to talk about this past weekend shows since we last did the podcast. This past weekend we were in Toledo, which was a great show. Pretty warm that day, but pretty pleasant actually that day. Out on the Maumee River, big crowd, a lot of fun. The opener Angel, she was really good. Just a cool show. Jeff, our production manager's near his hometown, so his mom was there. It's a bunch of his buddies. It was real cool. Minty from the Machine Shop was there taking some pictures. And then we went over to Mount Pleasant, Michigan, to the Soaring Eagle, the big outside amphitheater they have there, and played a show with your buddy Blake Shelton. And that day, when I got off the bus, it was drizzling most of the day. But when I finally got up and got off the bus, it was nice. I mean, for me, it's a little chilly for you, but it was like high mid 60s and nice little breeze. I was thinking, wow, this is.
It was actually pretty nice on the golf course. You know, I played golf both days.
Oh, that's right.
First day was pretty toasty, and then the second day was, I mean, it was great. I mean, I had, we didn't get rained on too much, and it was kind of a nice break, from the heat. So, and I played pretty well. I hadn't played in a long time. Broke 100 both days, and went low 90s, I think, a couple times. So that was, for not playing in really years, quite honestly, I was kind of pleased. But
yeah, and it was you and drummer Tucker Wilson and Pete Hartung, your longtime manager, and our friend Gary Herberholtz. I don't know what we could call Gary, just our buddy Gary G Money from Detroit.
Kind of, just a guy we've become good friends with over the years, and
he's always up to something.
It can hook us up at any golf course, anytime. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. And he's a good player too.
Fantastic liquor and wine collection that he shares with us as well. But anyway, so that was cool. That was y'all's foursomes. Y'all got out there and played, and I know that after the first day you said it was warm, and that next day was nice, and then we did the show that evening, and it was cool then too. I mean, I wore long sleeve pearl snap to the show the first time all year because it's been so hot, but big nice crowd there in Mount Pleasant, and then Blake, good show by Blake. He puts on a great show.
Great show.
And then got. They had, his band was good. They put on a great show, I thought.
Yeah, and I didn't have a chance to see Blake prior to the show, and so we stood side stage and watched his show. And when he came off, he goes, "Where's your bus? Let's go drink." I think he had some kiddos on his bus, so. It was good to catch up with him for a half hour or whatever it was, and hadn't seen him. It's probably been since last year, so it was good to catch up with him. And man, he ain't changed a bit. It's just same old. So
he's got great banter. Yeah, he's got great banter on stage too.
It's like going to a comedy show and a music show at the same time.
But it's like he's done television enough now where he knows to keep it short. Like they're all like 17 seconds. Each little bit's like the exact
one-liners.
Same. Yeah, it's just boom, boom, boom. In between breaks, boom, boom, boom. And then, it was fun chit-chatting afterwards. He's ridiculous. And then Joey, as we know, Joey G, our buddy Joey and Pete were there with us. And Joey's just yapping up, talking about God knows what Joey was saying.
God love him.
And then, like we were just talking, he had to be up the next morning for a flight at like 5:30. And
he loved it though.
He loved
it. He was
it.
dressed to the nines.
You know it.
Probably just happy as a lark. Where you
just
and I
up
would be literally walking through the airport, still asleep, and pissed off that we're up that early.
Oh yeah.
Like when JR and I travel together, which it's obviously every week, especially. Well, I won't even say that. Whether it's a bus or flying, it really doesn't matter. We don't really even talk to each other first 2-3 hours. I mean, because we certainly ain't getting up 2 or 3 hours earlier than we need to. We're getting up 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes before we need to.
Oh yeah.
And so
Yeah, I ain't trying to jump
it's
up
funny.
and pretend I'm working for no reason. I'm gonna get up and
or
execute
pretend like
properly.
you're happy to be up.
Yeah, no. I'm
Like,
gonna
what's
get
the point?
proper rest and be ready to rock when I
My
am
wife wakes up shitting rainbows, and I'm like, knock it off. Stop. I ain't. You can go over there and do this, or go in the
Right.
other room.
No, I don't have
act
that.
happy
Me
around
and
me.
Reese are about the same on that. We're both pretty. We're pretty tame
Yeah.
on that. This time
Ella's-
of the year, especially too, because I'm kind
Ella's
of in
pretty
my schedule.
Yeah, Ella's pretty happy in the morning. Klein's pretty pleasant in the morning. The other two are more like me. You know, it takes them a little time. South wants to just lay around for a while, which, you know me. Me and you are about the same. Hell, we could just lay around all day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah, right.
There are days we do that.
Yeah, well, it just depends on what we got to do. I always say if I'm resting up because we never know when something's going to change, and then we got to go be busy and no sleep for a week or two at a time.
Right.
So I'm like,
you just never know. So you got to store it up.
You got to bank some rest, man. You know, and
You got to hibernate when you can.
And it's just good to rest up. You got to let your body recuperate, because when we go, it's like I don't even do what you do. You're up there on stage, literally singing and playing for 2 hours. And then an hour or two of stuff before this. So 4 hours, like playing a ball game every day, basically. I mean, obviously not quite as physical, but mentally, and then the execution, you got to be here, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And then my stuff too. I know when my stuff needs to happen, and when I got to get done, and when I need to be really sharp, and when I need to be, when I can kind of drag through it, and you know, you just and then and I tell everybody, some days are better than others. Some days you got to be on. You know, there's days when I've seen you we'll go to New York City, do some press that morning, get on a train, get back to the bus, go to New Jersey, do a show, fly across the country to do something. That, boom, boom, boom. And we're like, hey, guys, can we take 5 minutes and grab something to eat? We haven't ate in like 24 hours. And like, oh, yeah, we forgot to eat. And we just, but we just do it. That's just when we have to do it, we just do it.
You just do it. I mean, and that's what, like, you know, people ask, like, oh, you don't want to go play golf, or you don't want to on the road, you know, during the day. Because I get up to do the radio shows 6 to 10, right? So that's early, especially when you know, go to bed at 1 the night before or whatever.
Right.
And that's early, going to bed at 1. So you get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, do that. And then most of the time I don't get off the bus and go do stuff, unless I have the kids with me, and then I get out and do stuff with them. I just pretty much sit around, watch movies, and stream Netflix and stuff, because I know I've got 4 more hours that night to do stuff and be productive. And the parallel you drew between playing a sport game and doing what we do on stage, I think, is spot on.
Yeah.
It's physical. You got to be mentally prepared. Plus, it's tiring to sing. Especially after you've talked for 4 hours that day. And so you just try to store it up during the day. Or I'll give you an example here at home. I'm currently, I was going to talk about it anyway. Been doing a lot of press with A Woman You Love, as we're hoping to get it to become our 11th #1 single. I've been doing a ton of interviews and stuff for it. I know yesterday, after getting off the radio show, I did hours worth of it, 3-4 hours worth of it. Talking is exhausting. And then tomorrow I have to do it again, the same kind of bit. And so Kate asked me today, she's like, what are your plans today? I'm like, just to rest all day, because I had a long, long day yesterday. I know I got another one tomorrow. Just like you said, storing it up. Let me rest as much as I can today, and which what we did today. I'll tell you that in a minute. But yeah, just to wrap up the press for the single, just so you guys are aware of the songs that I think it's at 4 on the chart right now,
yep.
And we're hoping to have it #1 here in the next 3-4 weeks, something like that, and then that would be awesome. It'd be a great way to kind of kick off the fall, if you will.
Yeah, I saw that, and that was a question I'm gonna get to later too. It was asking something about the charts this week, and I know I've looked at it. I don't have it in front of it. I know Some other friends of ours are up there too. Chris Young's got a song up there, I believe.
Yep.
Party's got a song up there. Cole Swindell's got one coming up behind you. So a couple of buddies I saw on the deal, which is awesome. Always when I look up and down, I see, not that everybody's not great and do what they do, but it's always cool to see actual buddies. You know, on the chart. So that was cool.
For sure.
And yeah, you know, talking about that on the bus too, and we kind of have that schedule too, to where I know you're going to do that, so I don't get up till about 10. So you're going to go chill, and I'm getting up, and I get off and start doing my thing, and then we'll hook back up later that afternoon, and boom, boom, boom. But that's the thing about our business; it's not like a retail store or even a ball club that everything's structured basically the same way. It's a bunch of individual businesses under an umbrella of entertainment that. Everything's different, you know, and you got to adjust your schedule. There's not a 9 to 5 in our job, really, you know, for any of us. So, but anyway,
which we're glad about. But what we did today, speaking of resting all day until we're doing this, but this is obviously fun. And I won't give any spoilers away, but I know you finished Ozark, correct?
Yes.
And so you hadn't given anything away, but you were like, wow, it's intense, or whatever words you used. I don't remember, but we just finished it today because we were behind y'all. And you know, it's not a show you can watch with the kids running around. So now that they've been in school the last couple of days, holy smokes. And again, I won't give it away because I know there's people out there who haven't finished it. But whoa,
incredible! Don't see any of that coming.
No, especially the very end. I could maybe see one of those things happening, but not the very last one.
Yeah,
I was like, holy smokes, man! Like whoa. But I don't know I don't know if you would recommend it if there's too much destruction and death for you, but it's a great show. If you hadn't watched it, I mean, it's 4 seasons, but it is just there's never a moment where I don't know. I feel like there's very few slow episodes. There may be some, but
I'm trying to think if there's one on a backstory on somebody, but not really.
In the middle of the season, but
even then, it's building.
Kind of always on the edge of your seat.
Yeah. Only thing about that one to me is obviously the inaccuracies on some of the stuff I see on the dark side. I'm like, the heroin lady would not have thugs around and some of that kind of stuff. But no, I thought overall Jason Bateman plays his character and all of them. Laura Linney, I mean, all the people who play their parts, the kids. I mean,
because their little boy,
the cartel gangbangers, they all. I mean, everybody played the mafia guy. Everybody plays. You're thinking you believe. I mean, it's believable. They play their roles really well. Casting director nailed it.
Yeah, their son in the season 4 had me wanting to just beat the hell out of him. Which that's a kid. That's an actor doing their job.
Yeah, right.
He was supposed to, but I'm like, beat his ass.
Yeah.
Wear him out with a belt.
Like me in that movie Identity Theft with Melissa McCarthy. I was like, I just want to find this woman. I just got to give her a piece of my mind. This woman right here, that's just wrong. Hey, while we're talking about, we'll hit a little entertainment.
You got to go watch it. And for those who, because we drug out being able to finish this season, we watched the first half, and then because it comes in 2 parts. Go do it. Make the time to do it, because I wish we'd have done it a long time ago now, but it's great. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say definitely a recommendation if you hadn't went back and watched the whole season. Got to go finish that Ozark. It makes. I mean, that's why it was one of the biggest shows, because it had everybody on their seat like that. You just never knew what was about to happen. But talking about entertainment while we're there, and then we can hit on a little sports and talk some music stuff. I watched last night, and I meant to get up and call the radio show this morning. I might try to jump on tomorrow, but I watched Elvis last night. Sharice and I went ahead and bought Elvis on Amazon Prime and watched it. And so I bought it, though, so we'll have it on the bus this weekend.
Do you have to buy it?
Yeah, you kind of watch it at the movie theater.
I thought you could just stream it.
Not yet. You can buy
Well, you're a big Elvis guy. What did you think?
Dude, it was good. Now, again, the historical accuracy on a lot of it, I'm sure it's not to a T because of for entertainment values. It was neat to come to see it from Colonel Parker's perspective.
Wait,
it
it's
was good.
from his perspective?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was not what I thought it was going to be. I can tell you that. I'm not trying to give anything away you're not going to know in the first 30 seconds. But yeah, it's from Colonel Parker's perspective.
I did not know that.
More than anything.
No
and
idea.
I know, and I knew Basil and Roger had mentioned that the other week when I saw them in Little Rock, and we were so busy that day I didn't really process. But then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what they were saying. So
one of the parts that they've told me is that what they felt like was inaccurate was maybe Elvis publicly I don't know if going against Colonel Parker.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
they
for
thought
sure.
that was a little embellished because they said I don't remember Elvis actually doing that in public.
I've never heard it. There's never footage of it. I don't know about that, but who knows? But yeah, that was part. And yeah, I mean, I said it was good. It was almost. It was Tom Hanks, playing Colonel Tom, which is Tom Hanks. He's huge, but for me, it'd almost be better if it was more accurate and different. I mean, I don't know. It was great. I thought it was overall good, though. I believe they made it. It's palatable for a lot of people. A lot of people could watch it and get. It was easy to follow and easy to understand. And
yeah, you know me, it
wasn't very art house. It was more big picture than art house, and I'm a little more art house sometimes. So if it could have been different, a little darker, would have been better. I don't know, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, you know me, I know I'm gonna get a ton of hate mail for this, but I have a ton of respect for Elvis being Elvis and some of his music. I'm just not the biggest fan. You like you and Basil and hundreds of millions across the world. I just never got into Elvis that much, and so it may be more for a guy like me who does know less about.
You would like it. I think you're going to love it. I know you because you like some of those ones like Supermensch and some of those ones that show like behind the scenes stuff that you always like those. I think you'll really like this one.
Yeah, because they keep saying you got to watch it. You got to watch it. And I'm like. I mean, all right. I mean, I guess, all right.
Yeah, most people are disappointed with me when I've told them I haven't yet. I'm like, guys, I try to go to the movies, but I will. I just hadn't had a chance. But it was definitely worth watching. And like I said, I bought it so we can watch it on the bus this weekend.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Catch up. Maybe South.
Nice.
Yeah, South. Is South going to come with us this weekend?
Yeah.
So
he'll be with us. So
we can show him who Elvis is.
Maybe it'll be a fair. So he would like that. Fair. I don't know if it is. Okay, there you go. That'd be perfect.
It's at the fairgrounds. I'm assuming.
I looked up for those in Sedalia, Missouri. I looked up things to do with kids in Sedalia, Missouri, and there weren't very many options.
Go to
so
the fair.
If you have any, I guess go to the fair is what we'll do.
Yeah,
but he'll just enjoy being on the bus.
Right, watch an Elvis movie.
Yeah.
And there was other entertainers in there, which I'm fans of because they showed B.B. King, Little Richard, some different people from the era, some history of North Mississippi and East Arkansas, West Tennessee, that area up there, the Memphis area and stuff. But it was really it was good. It was put together good. I thought it was a good movie. I suggest everybody go see it. But like I said, the other ones in there were neat for me, and I'm always like, ooh, let's do another documentary on those guys, and they're Little Richard from that moment on, and
do them for everybody of that era.
Yeah, Big Mama Thornton, they need. I can't believe they don't have there may be, and but documentaries on some of those. Because they were so instrumental. You're talking about taking music from small little house concerts and small little things and. Radio was kicking, and then to where it is now, where
it's especially when you look at how big Elvis Presley was, biggest star in the world,
still the highest selling solo artist of all time,
and then look at the shows they were playing compared to like what we play even. He was wild.
It was a big ballroom in Vegas. But then he was doing the tours there at the end where he was playing for bigger crowds, but not like big 100,000 people festivals and stuff like now. But he played
Did you see, it was Tuesday, I believe, of this week. Was
Yeah.
it the 30th or 40th
50th.
anniversary? 50th?
50th.
Was it 50? Wow.
Yeah, my mom was
I
in
guess
high
it
school.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, anniversary.
Everybody from that
I
era-
know it wouldn't be 30th.
Everybody
but,
from
yeah,
that era remembers
40th.
where they
I
were.
thought
Yeah.
40th.
People out there use the hashtag Just More Podcast. Let us know where you were when you heard the news on Elvis, because I know, like, my mom and them remember they were in a car coming somewhere. They remember what mile marker.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was just,
Yeah.
but it was the 50th, definitely, because it was 70 something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. I wasn't. I keep forgetting it's 2022. I
know.
guess I keep thinking it's like 2000.
Yeah,
or what?
It really is wild to think, because when we were in high school in the 90s, 80s, and then the 90s, you think 2022 seems never going to get here. That will never be a date.
It seemed like there'll be flying cars, and there'll be, it looked like the Jetsons at that point. That's what we thought back then.
Yeah. Yeah, I read a thing today. It was comparing what the Jetsons got right and wrong, because this year or next year will be the year that George Jetson was born by the time of the movie or the TV show The Jetsons.
Like when the show was born?
No,
when he was born on...
In the show, when George Jetson was born, was 2023. That was his birthday when he was born. So,
hey, well, so he was probably, 50 in the show? 40?
It was 2050 during the show.
Okay, so yeah, he would have been, 30s, I guess. He just looked 50 in the show.
Everybody did back then.
Yeah. They might have had a lot more right. We got, that's yet to be determined.
Right. Oh yeah, and a lot of the stuff they were showing already has. A lot of the stuff already is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a trip.
I used to love that show.
Yeah. Oh, and another stat I was talking about Elvis though. And after you watch this after everybody watches this movie, everybody will have the same perspective. But Colonel Tom he never played any shows out of the U.S.
Because he wasn't a citizen.
Yeah,
Colonel Tom, right?
Right. And see, they never go all the way into stuff on this. They leave it vague, but yeah, that's definitely it. And they talk about it, but and could have been good, could have been bad. Maybe should have, maybe shouldn't have. Now in hindsight, who really knows? But he did stream the first satellite concert from Hawaii. And like 1.8 billion people watched it. Still ain't nobody done that.
No. Man, it's just sad. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, he just stole money from Elvis. I mean,
well, yeah. And who really knows though? Too, who really knows? And some of that.
I'm coming from an artist perspective, though. So I don't know. I just feel like. I would have changed management.
Right. Well, but then, back then that was early on. The deals were different back then. And, again, you can make whatever kind of deal you want to make. And that was early on before, there was a lot of people got taken advantage of back then,
right.
and all the way around. But it's hard to say. Who knows? Who knows what kind of deal they had? Like in the movie, it, give a little weight. It almost portrays like Elvis didn't want to do it, and Colonel kind of made him do a lot of it because he wouldn't have done nothing if it wouldn't have. But who knows?
Right.
Unless you were there in the inner circle, and then every one of those. There's a lot of documentaries and biographies from different guys in the circle. And that was a long time ago. So and everybody was doing whatever. So who knows? But yeah, it definitely, there was a lot of money, but they talk about it, they go into there. Elvis spent a ton of money, of money. So, and that happened to a lot of people, especially if you come from, rural, poor parts of the country, and then, you thrust upon all this
that
stuff.
was back in the day where, I mean, it was coming through the managers or labels or whatever, and they just the artist would show up and say, I want my money, and then the next time they show up, they got a brand new Cadillac there.
Right.
Or
and they have they have stories of Elvis. Yeah, he would just buy people. He'd be at the store buying a Cadillac. Some lady'd look at one, so he'd just buy her one too. And hey, I'll tell you one.
Wow.
Talking about how crazy real estate is. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday because I read a thing about Elvis. He bought this house in outside of Los Angeles in '70 for $349,000. 9,000 square foot house, just this mansion for on $300,000 in 1970. Sold it 5 years later to Telly Savalas for like double, basically. And that seems crazy. In 5 years it doubled. But then that same property sold last year for $20 million.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's the thing. He could have made so much more money. I mean,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I mean,
just
you
crazy.
can never, you never think 60 years later, if I have this, it'll be, I mean,
you don't, yeah.
How you know that stuff?
You don't.
I mean, you don't. I mean,
that's like where I live down here at the beach, even in Destin stuff. They got pictures of that, not too much sooner than we're talking about. Then I've seen pictures of 50s. Yeah, nothing. There's no road down here. It's just a bit. You get to the end. There's the beach. You just got to walk. I mean, there's no buildings. There's no hotels. There's no nothing.
I remember even 10 years ago when we bought our house down there, 30A was nothing. There were no restaurants. There were no, and people were going, man, y'all really ought to buy down there. You really are. And, financially we probably should have, but we didn't want to be down there because there wasn't nothing down there.
Right.
I mean, you were like, it's all right, I guess, and boom. It's that stuff is all just kind of a guessing game. You got to have, try to make educated guesses, but you certainly can't foresee 60 years in the future, or whatever.
Right.
But today's episode is sponsored by Bobcat. If you're like me, you don't like to sit still for very long. You look out the window and see possibilities. What if I planted a row of trees over there? It'd be nice to clear that trail in those woods. That's why Bobcat equipment is so great. Its compact size, powerful performance, and big-time versatility will keep up with all your ideas for your property. With a few attachments or implements and a Bobcat tractor, for example, you can do big things in small amounts of time. It's perfect for me when I have a break from touring or recording. Take a look at tractors, utility vehicles, mowers, and more at bobcat.com or pay a visit to your local dealer. Hey, what's up, guys? Justin Moore here. I want to remind everyone out there listening that my wife, Kate, has an awesome children's clothing boutique in downtown Benton, Arkansas. It's Central Arkansas. So if you're local, come see us at 119 West South Street in downtown historic Benton, Arkansas. Again, that's 119 West South Street in Benton, Arkansas. And if you're not local, we ship everywhere. So you can find us at shopthislittlepiggy.com and see all that we have to offer, all that my wife Kate has to offer, I should say. Facebook, you can find us at Shop This Little Piggy AR, and Instagram, you can find us at Shop This Little Piggy AR. But check us out. It's called This Little Piggy, and see what we got to offer. ShopThisLittlePiggy.com.
Hi, y'all. This is Brandon Bing, singer-songwriter and whiskey maker. You're tuning into the Justin Moore Podcast. Visit EasyLiquor.com to grab your bottle of Bangtail Whiskey and join the Blue Collar Swaller family today. Follow us on all socials at Bangtail Whiskey for more news and updates. Now pour a jigger and take this 8-second ride with us.
Hey, gang. As y'all have heard, the Justin Moore Podcast has recently teamed up with Wrangler. Wrangler has been an icon in authentic American style around the world for more than 70 years. With a rich legacy rooted in the American West, Wrangler commits to offering unmatched quality and timeless design. As y'all have heard me and Justin talk about on here, George Strait and Alan Jackson, they're Wranglers. We wear Wranglers too. Its collections are also for men and women, children, to look and feel great, inspiring those who wear them to be strong and ready for life every day. Wrangler is available in retail stores worldwide, including brand flagship stores in Denver and Dallas, department stores, mass market retailers, specialty shops, Western outfitters, and online. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. And you know you've heard it here, and you've seen it on stage, the Justin Moore Podcast. Dang glad to be partnered up with Wrangler because we're big fans and have been for a long, long time. Can't go wrong with a nice pair of Wranglers, y'all. I wear the Wrangler Retro. Justin wears the black one some. It's my go-to. I get mine at Academy. So if you're around an Academy or just about anywhere, you can get you a pair of Wranglers, whether you want to look like George Strait, or you want to look like JM, or you want to look like me. You can get you some Wranglers, and you can do that. Whether you're in North California or South Alabama or Montana, Texas, Ohio, Wyoming, wherever, a pair of Wranglers will get the job done. Long live Cowboys and Plowboys. For more information, visit Wrangler.com. Well, you want to jump on some sports? You want to talk a little sports here? I had a question.
I mentioned the beginning of fall, and I was going to say, because we've been doing this thing on the radio where we're counting down how many days till the first game each day, and tomorrow, when this podcast comes out, we will be 16 days from kickoff. 16, so a little over 2 weeks.
Dude, I draft my fantasy football. I drafted one. My keeper league I do with my guys in Louisiana. Shout out to my Canal Bar league. I did that. That's when you came back on the bus from golf Saturday, and I was sitting up on the phone. That's what I was drafting my team.
Oh, really?
I didn't even give you the lowdown on my – because I didn't do any – I hadn't done any prep work really this year because I haven't – now that I have to stream ESPN at home, it's not as easy to click through and just stop on SportsCenter like I used to.
No.
And then we're on the road. It's been a weird kind of schedule for us this year, so we haven't just been laying around watching SportsCenter like we usually do, especially since basketball ended and college softball and baseball ended.
Right.
We just kind of we keep up with the Braves. So
there's not really anything too much to watch except for Major League Baseball and
I like to
those
go.
Games are at weird times.
Yeah.
It's
if I try to watch one, I miss most of it. So I end up just catching the score. But I haven't watched enough to keep up and really know. I've seen a few headlines, but I don't know who's playing, who's retired, who's hurt, who's suspended, who's looking really good in training camp, who's not looking really good in training camp, any of that kind of stuff. So I just went my old tried and true method when we started. I got, of course, last second, got on just in time to start. They were waiting on me to get started. And I basically drafted everybody that Bama sent to the league last year. I get 7 picks, and you drop 7 people. So I got most Bama guys I wanted. I wanted your wide receiver that plays at Tennessee, but somebody else got him.
Traylon
Burks. And then but I did get Hunter Renfrow, which he didn't get drafted because you can pick out of people that are already playing. So I got Hunter Renfrow as a pickup there from Clemson. But
Where's he at?
Las Vegas.
And he was good last year, I thought.
He had a good year. Yeah, he's
really good. Yeah,
he's good. So I got like Brian Robinson. I got Mechie. I got Fedarius, a defensive tackle. I got a linebacker and another wide out from Bama. I got like basically 5 Bama guys and a tight end from somewhere and Hunter Renfrow.
Who'd you get at tight end?
I can't remember. I want to say he might have played at Ole Miss or somewhere, or Mississippi State, somewhere like that. But he got drafted high, and I hadn't seen him or something. And I thought, I need another tight end.
Yeah.
I think Irv Smith's going to be back, and that's who I'm trying to lean on because my Bama guy at the Vikings. But he didn't play a bunch of games last year, so I don't know. I was getting and then
who's your top wide out?
Be Julio, probably, or one of those type guys.
He's somewhere else now.
Or Calvin Ridley.
He's not at
Calvin Ridley's
Atlanta
gone
anymore, right?
So I got to drop Calvin Ridley.
Is Ridley the one that had the crash? Or was that?
No, that was Ridley was the one that got caught. He got suspended a whole year for gambling or doing something crazy.
Oh, that's what it was. The other one I'm talking about was a rookie last year.
Yeah, Ruggs. No, was it? No,
Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs, yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
If not, I apologize to Henry and his family. I think that was right, though. And he probably won't ever get to play.
I know. So I've got to drop some of those guys. And then, Amari Cooper, Jalen Waddle, Damian Harris, I've got Tua, I got Mac Jones. But tonight, tonight, though, at 7 o'clock, I'm drafting my normal couples league we do with our neighborhood people from Louisiana. So it's 4 couples, so 8 total. And we pick those every year. So I'm trying to do some scouting and try to, remember who's playing where and who they're projecting or who looks like they're going to start. So I'm trying to play catch up, but man, it's a lot of movement this past off season. And, I'm not bragging. I swear, I know it's gonna but we got a lot of Bama guys in the league now. It's not like it used to be where I barely have to fill roster spots. And speaking of, for tight ends, not that I'm not going to get my Bama guys, but my number one and it'll be done. I got to get Hunter Henry. I always pull for
Yeah,
Hunter.
I'm pretty sure he had a really good year last year.
He did. He's back.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's healthy. He looked healthy, and Mac Jones would be throwing him the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
And I told them I was telling somebody yesterday too, some of these ball players, the ones I actually know, like a Hunter Henry, I know he's not going to he's not catching a case on
stuff.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He married his high school sweetheart. He'll be at church on Sunday, before
Right.
the game. I know I ain't got to worry about that. And when I had him when he was at the Chargers, I had him his rookie year. Nobody knew who he was. And I had him, and he racked up. He had a touchdown every week. He had like a 9-game streak where he had a touchdown every week. He had good numbers.
I want to say he did something like that last year. It might have been 4 or 5 games.
Yeah,
he's
back.
But
for
yeah,
sure.
hopefully he'll have a good year.
He got
hopefully all those
up.
guys will have a good year.
Yeah, for sure. So I lean towards that. And there's a few teams I can't pick from. And it was funny. I was kind of poking at my buddy Crawford last night. I was telling him about that, and I was like, well, now I can actually have quarterbacks. I could always get some good defensive guys, and then Bama started having one or two offensive guys. And then as he was leaving the house last night, I said, hey, anybody good I need to look for offensively from Auburn that I could draft? And he stumbled around and said somebody. I said, hell, I ain't drafted by Auburn. Get out of here. I'm just playing. It was a joke moment for me. He thought
it'd
about
be like
it,
me drafting somebody from LSU.
Yeah, right. That's
probably
what
the best quarterback in the league came from LSU, but I wouldn't go get him.
Yeah,
you can't rely on those guys.
On the text Saturday before we drafted the keeper league, they text me, JR, you sticking with your normal draft Bama only? I said, no, I'm gonna go all LSU this year. And so then we were on the call a little bit later. They were, JR, you really gonna draft all LSU this year? I said, hell no, man. Come on. What are you talking about, man? Come on.
I'd rather draft from an 11, 12-win team rather than a 6-win team.
You know me, I could get fired up on this, and we'll try to ease into it this year. But there are a few teams that you just know JR's not going to have on his roster. It ain't going to be no Ohio State. Ain't going to be no Michigan. Ain't going to be no Michigan State. Ain't going to be no USC. Ain't going to be no Penn State. None of that hoo-ha. Or Notre Dame. No, we good. I'm drafting SEC as much as I possibly can, or I have went back and found guys who are born in Alabama or Mississippi and play and went to college somewhere else. That's eligible as well, as long as it's not Auburn or Tennessee.
And people think I'm ridiculous.
Yeah, we all got our stuff. We're all ridiculous about different stuff. It's like me and Eason used to talk about this because we were ridiculous. And it's funny how we're all a mashup of our other friends, But I would be worried about getting this, like, say we're playing, Madden 98, 95, 96 on whatever. And I would have to make sure the stats were just right. If a guy came along and I'm like, that's not right, that guy's not slower than him, I'm going on there adjusting the stats because I want it to be just how they really were. He didn't really care about that. He's going to make sure their uniforms are exactly how they ought to be. He's like, no way he's wearing those long socks. He would have wear tape on this hand, not that hand. He's got to have the towel on this side. That's how we were. He was more worried about that, and I was more worried, but we were equally as ridiculous,
Yeah, and of course you always play with your team.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no possible way. Let's on Retro Bowl. Mm-hmm. I keep getting all these offers from all these other teams to coach them. This is a stupid football game on your phone. I'm like, no, I'm going to stick with the Steelers. That's my team. Yeah. I'm a legend here. What am I going to go to Dallas for or whatever?
Right. And you're like, and you even take it over into real life. You're like, Dallas Cowboys want me to come sing the national anthem, open the game. No, I'm a Steelers fan. That wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Well,
pass.
Funny.
Thank you. I'll catch him next time.
It's funny you say that because this week we got an opportunity to go do something with the Ravens. Well, that's the biggest rival.
As soon as I saw that, I thought, I'll let him answer, but I don't know. Maybe we'll catch him. Let's see how the season goes. Maybe we'll swing back after the season, do something with him.
Yeah, and I love Baltimore. I just can't stand the Ravens.
Right.
We ended up not being able to do whatever it was anyway. So but I was like almost relieved. I'm like, because usually once or twice a year the Steelers ask us to do something, and I'm like,
right.
I can't be
can't not do that because they're like, what the heck, man?
Yeah. I can't have them going, yeah, we're going to have to, like, cut
But over there fraternizing with the enemy.
Justin swag, sending him swag and stuff. Remember, we got to go through the whole store and on a shopping spree, and I'm like, what is this going to look like to my children who I've reared to become like, you know what I mean? I mean, what are they going to be like, Dad? What's next? You're going to be going and playing kickoffs for Ole Miss?
You're going to be telling us it's okay to say "Go Tigers" next?
Not happening. Yeah,
that's funny.
So,
it all blends into this magic little blend. But so I'm drafting my fantasy team tonight. I'm excited to look and see all the players and get more fired up about it. I kid about all those other. Well, I don't really kid that I don't want to pick their players, but. As we say every year, the biggest thing is we just want everybody to have a good, successful season. Nobody to get hurt long term.
Well, not successful as far as wins and losses.
Right. But
health,
but health wise and personal lives and all that fun stuff.
Right.
But we want our teams to win. Yeah, and if the Saints are listening, you need somebody to come do a little spot here or there, if anything, a jingle, whatever. I'm always available. I think we're going to go. I'm looking at a weekend in December. I think it's a Monday night game. As we usually try to go to Tampa.
Oh yeah,
and do
Monday
a game.
night games would be fun.
I think there's a Monday night in Tampa this year.
Get to see Tom,
see Brady, and then Julio. And the Saints got a good team. Saints supposed to have one of the top couple defenses in the country this year. Jameis Winston got a new coach in Dennis Allen. I think we got a good team to put out on the field this year. And Steelers, got
my wife will be happy.
2 Bama studs on both sides, one on each side of the ball up there.
Yeah.
And
I think this is going to be the first year I've maybe been a Steelers fan, or in a long time, that you're like, if we can get to 500.
Who's going to start at quarterback, do you think?
Man, it's looking like Trubisky. And
Mitch Trubisky.
Like, him or it'll either be him or Rudolph, who played at
Minnesota.
Well, no, I think he played
Kyle
Rudolph. Mason. I think he played at in college. I think he played for, was it Texas Tech maybe, or Oklahoma State, I think.
Okay.
And he's been the backup there for a while, and he's a serviceable player, but he's we're losing a legend at quarterback with Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
It's hard to replace those guys. They drafted a guy in the first round last year from Pittsburgh, but I think he's not been. He doesn't seem ready in camp as a rookie right now. So I don't know, man. It's going to be all on the defense and hope to get better quarterback play than you think you're going to get. So I could see him certainly missing the playoffs. Plus, that division, which has always been owned, or the last 15 years has been owned by Baltimore and Pittsburgh, it's kind of flipped now. Cleveland's got a pretty good team, I think, and Cincinnati looks just scary.
Yeah,
scary good.
Yeah, they're loaded. They came out of nowhere too. I will say this: they ripped off the Saints' chant. So I'm not going to acknowledge it, but they definitely got a good team. They're loaded now.
So I think it's going to be a tough year.
I know a lot of buddies of ours, because of location being north of Nashville and East Kentucky and all that. We got a bunch of buddies that are Bengals fans and whatnot. But, you stole our saying, so I don't want y'all to do good. But yeah, they're loaded. And Joe Burrows. Hey, that's another one too. I said something on that text to my Louisiana buddies. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Joe Burrow first, and I guess I spelt it Barrow, or I don't know. I'm not good at spelling. And they said, "You go borrow, Joe." I said, "I don't know how to spell that loser's, that whatever's name. Can't say losers. He won some ball games." But I said, "I don't know how to spell that turkey's name. Who cares?" I'm not drafting him. I don't care if he's the number one, whatever. But they're scary good. I hope they take it easy on my Saints. Good Lord.
Yeah, they had it. I mean, obviously making it all the way to the Super Bowl, and one of the deficiencies on their team last year was O-line play. Burrow got just beat up. And they went out and got some stud O-linemen, like some guys with a lot of experience. So they kind of shored that position up. And I think their defense is pretty salty. So I don't know that's probably their division to win, honestly. But.
Right. And we'll talk more each week here on the Justin Moore podcast about NFL and as it goes on and our favorite players and favorite teams. But remember, like we mentioned on that other stuff, send us out anything football or music related, or as we said, the pictures of the kiddos, all that fun stuff. Use the hashtag Justin Moore podcast. I'm JR the Handler. Instagram and Twitter, that's Justin Cole Moore. If it's JM, look for the blue check mark.
And who does Bama have first week? I know we have Cincinnati, which was in the playoff last year, and they're in the top 25 preseason, so that's not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. First game of the season for us, and like I said, 16 days. So
yeah,
but I know you guys have a decent opponent too, but I couldn't remember who.
No, well, Utah State. First game of the season, and then second game is Texas, though.
That's the one I was thinking of, Texas.
Yeah, we got Utah State, then Texas. We've got, I hate to even say that because as we know, they got scholarship athletes. They're going to be ready to give us everything they got. So I'm not going to talk down on any of these teams, but Utah State, Texas, UL Monroe, Vandy, then you guys, then A&M, then Tennessee, then Mississippi State, LSU, Ole Miss, Austin Peay, and then the team across the state, Auburn.
Yeah, I'm hoping I hope for both of our sake we're 4-0 going into the game against each other. That would be an incredible atmosphere.
Right.
You need to come for that game.
Yeah, we're going to see how it shakes out.
I know we took it off. So,
and I actually got a question here from Colton25 on Instagram. Said, hey, Justin and JR, I got a question for Justin. With the new football season coming up, what was your favorite moment of this past year in Razorback sports? Knocking off number 1 Auburn in basketball, beating Texas in football, or the walk-off against North Carolina to send the Diamond Hogs to Omaha? Great time to be a Hog. Woo Pig Suey.
That's a good question.
Those are three good ones too right there, buddy. Woo.
The big 3 sports we had – we did well. So we finished 3rd in baseball overall. We got beaten the Elite 8 in basketball, so top 8. And football won 9 games for first time in ever. That's a great question. I'll give you one from each. How about that?
Okay.
Beating Oklahoma State in the regionals, to me, was more enjoyable than beating North Carolina in the super regionals because I expected to beat North Carolina. Oklahoma State scared me. Football, easy. Beating Texas like a drum at home. And then basketball, I would go instead of the Auburn game because I know Auburn was really good last year, but it was the first time they'd ever been number 1. I mean, we've beaten number 1 teams a lot and been number 1 a lot.
Oh,
So
act like you've been there.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was a great win, but it didn't shock me. The big game to me was in the Sweet 16 against Gonzaga because Gonzaga was the real deal and had great players. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, were favorites to win it all. They were the number 1 overall seed. So beating them to go to the Elite 8. So that's one from each of the sports.
Yeah, good one there. And yeah, again, 16 days out, we're going to talk more about college football as the weeks come along, and we're going to talk SEC, a lot of SEC football because that's the country we live in, and I guess it's expanding all over. And I'm sure some of our guests that we've talked to recently about coming on, we're going to get some of their takes on their favorite teams and that kind of stuff too. I had another question here. We'll shift over a little music stuff here. We'll start off with this one. I had a quick question from David Wiedenhoff. If I pronounce that right, I'm terrible at this. Devin asked, JR and the boys singing Motley Crue. That was from 20. I don't know what that is. Question for the Justin Moore podcast. Justin, what is the most embarrassing thing you have ever done in front of one of your country heroes or country legends? Love your stories. Devin from Wisconsin.
Oh, that's
hashtag
easy.
real country equals JM.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's easy. We were at the ACM Awards in 2015. It was the year after I had won my ACM award, and I was presenting an award with Dwight Yoakam, who's my favorite artist of all time. I've said that forever. So he and I are going out to present the award, and those things are like, I mean, backstage they're rushing you around, and it's obviously on national TV, so it's timed. I mean, there's no room for error, and so I'm wearing a suit, and I had to cut the bottom, like you cut your jeans a little bit up the sides.
Yeah.
So to get my suit pants, because they were tighter over my boots, I cut them like I do my jeans, and they didn't hold up as well and split. So we're they're going 2 minutes till Dwight and Justin walk, blah, 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 whatever. And, and so they're in commercial, getting ready to come back. So my pants split on the inside. I forget. I think it was my left pant legs, above my knee, and I'm just TMI, but I didn't have any underwear on, but which I was really dreading at that point.
Straight cowboy.
Everybody's going, oh gosh, what are we going to do? People are rushing around like, there's a fire backstage, because we got to walk at a certain time, or I just don't get to go do it or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the funniest part about it is Luke Bryan was hosting that particular year. He may still host, I don't know. But he's like, oh my gosh, man, this sucks. And so we have this tape that we use in our industry called gaff tape, and I don't know, what would you attribute it to? It's not like electrical tape. It's more like,
it's kind of in between duct tape and painter's tape. We use it so it doesn't stick
yeah,
on
kind of
stuff.
like painter's tape is kind of what I was.
And we use it to mark the stage, and it's just used for all kinds of stuff. We use different colors.
Yeah, I was wearing a blue suit, like in between a royal and navy blue suit. I think, I don't even remember. And so they had black tape, and Luke Bryan is down on his knees, taping my pants up for me, and they just kind of rushed me and Dwight on stage, and I don't know if the other side's gonna split. I don't know if I don't know what's going on.
Wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if the tape's going to just fly off, and
you got no drawers on, so it could get way out of control.
Something's going to stick out, fall. I don't know what's going on. And I'm walking, and I'm doing this with one of my musical heroes. You have no idea. Yeah. And I'm not built like Ron Jeremy. Let me just say that. So it wouldn't have been like a moment where that would have been impressive by any stretch of the imagination. So I walk out there, and if anybody remembers this, it would be funny to see. I mean, I've never seen a video or anything of it, but now knowing that, if you watch me walk out, and it's still like this long catwalk, I mean, it feels like it's 100 yards, like a football field long, and I don't know how long it was, but it felt forever. And I'm kind of like walking out with one leg like as stiff as like this pin. Not
leg.
bending my knee. Yeah, like I had a fake leg or something. Yeah, like a pirate, yeah. And so somehow we go out there, present it, everything's fine. I waddle back off stage, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But that was easily the most embarrassing, but could have been much more embarrassing. I'll say that.
Dwight's probably like, son, we need to get you some new britches.
Well, and I wear mine that tight because he was my hero, and he wears the tightest ones of all time. And so, but he did. It was funny because, when you go out there to do something like that, you're reading off a teleprompter. What you're saying's been written, but you got to 9 times out of 10 you stay to the script. I mean, you can change a word here or there, or pop a joke in there, but. So we come out, and nobody in the audience or millions of people watching across the country or world or whatever, they have no idea what just took place backstage. Dwight makes some kind of joke about it, and nobody laughs. Nobody knows what the hell he's talking about, and I'm standing there going, "Oh my gosh, man!" And so it was pretty funny. Looking back on it now, it's funny, but
like you said, it happened in front of one of your, not just one of your heroes, your number one favorite guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, golly, man.
Well, lucky Luke was there,
and the fact that Luke's the one that
skills.
fixed me up, it was that was pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh, Luke, he's a good guy. We give him a hard time. He's a good dude. This is from Joshua Curtis on Instagram. We've actually kind of talked about this already, but we'll hit it real quick. Hey, JR, glad you guys are back. On the next podcast, you maybe talk about where Justin's current single is on the chart and how it's doing. Also, maybe let us know when we may be able to expect the next album. I know he said this fall possibly, so I didn't know if there was an update on that. Thanks again for the podcast and keep up the good work. Hope you guys come back to Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom soon.
Yeah, we like that place.
Thanks,
We've done that
Joshua.
Yeah, that's the old school place, isn't it?
Yes, where everybody's played. Yeah,
that's a cool spot.
Mm-hmm. That's where we go get the lobsters.
We talked about it a little earlier, but I'll hit it again. I think we're at number 4 on the chart right now, and if all goes well, hopefully, I don't ever want to jinx anything, but it feels like we could potentially have it would be our 11th number 1 on maybe like the first week of September. As far as the album release goes, I don't know. I have not had that conversation. It's done. It's turned into my record label, which is what you do, and it's been approved and all those things. We got to get some new, I think, pictures, artwork for the album. We got to get all that stuff ready to go. But I mean, if I had to guess, I'm gonna say October, November. That's just purely a guess, but I would not expect it not to come out at some point this year.
Yeah,
I would be stunned if it didn't.
Yeah, and we'll give more updates as the weeks come on that too. And as soon as we know more, we'll do the exclusive drop on
more
here.
Information about the album. We don't really want to give anything away right now, but there'll be some stuff we'll be putting out about it, and maybe our next single, because we're close to pulling the trigger on it. It'll come right after this one peaks. Hopefully at number 1, but wherever it peaks, it'll come out a few weeks after that. And I guess that's about all on that front.
Yeah.
So we have booked a lot of shows. We're starting to book shows for next year right now, and one of which is a big, what would you call a big media type event? Yeah. The one that we just booked today.
Yeah.
We played a few
event.
And I think they film it for TV and different things.
Yeah, we did it. We did it a couple years ago.
We did it a few years back, and so we'll be going back to do that one because we actually finalized that today. So that'll be a pretty big announcement.
It's down in enemy territory, but we'll.
So but it'll be fun. It's it's a big deal in the industry. So
hopefully we'll both do good against that team this year, and we'll have bragging rights going there next year. We'll have to worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we got that's a good one. Now that you mentioned that too, the buddy of ours that pulls for that team. We need to coordinate. I don't know if he'll be there for that event or not, but maybe that'll be something we can coordinate around.
Yeah, for sure.
Got another one here from Chase Morse. Says, "Hey JR, I have a thought for the podcast. I'm a lifetime NRA member, and my favorite JM song is the one he made on YouTube back in 2011 called 'This Is NRA Country.' I was wondering how that came about and why he never put it out on an album. Love the podcast and hope to see y'all soon in South Louisiana."
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like that that song. Yeah, so how that came about was same as far as NRA member and beliefs, etc. JR and I both. So they were the NRA was doing a campaign at the time where they were teaming up with country artists, and it was almost like a bit of a sponsorship type deal. We were working together to try to sign more people up for the NRA, educate people on responsible gun ownership and all these types of things. And It wasn't only me; it was a number of country artists at the time. I can't recall who, but so the reason we didn't put that on an album is we did that specifically for them, and it was exclusive to the campaign that we were doing with NRA at the time, and that campaign was called NRA Country.
Right.
And so it was kind of a lifestyle campaign and trying to, again, just educate people, maybe people that were fans of our music but either had different views than us about gun ownership, or maybe they were just uneducated in general on it. So it was a neat deal to be a part of. We got to, you remember, we got to go to do some stuff with the NRA.
Man, yeah, that museum.
I think the museum in
wow.
particular. It was neat for us, And then again, so I wrote that song as a part of that campaign.
Yeah, and you never know, might be on something else like that next year for them or some other sponsor for
you
ours
never
and
know.
stuff. You never know. I saw shout out to our buddy Lee Bryce, podcast alumni and tour buddy. He's got a jingle for Yingling right now, the beer.
Oh, nice.
It's on national TV. Pretty cool. Shout out to Lee and his crew, man. Good people. And I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, hey, there you go. That's one,
That's great.
Yeah, it was cool. And yeah, I remember that. I've still actually got a couple of the NRA country shirts because they were black with
and
the
hats
silver. And the hats, they
stuff.
were cool, but I've washed and dried them, and I've put on a few, so they're super tight now. They're not. I don't wear them out in public as much as I used to. I need to get some updates. I'm wearing my Yee Nation today. It's pretty snug.
I like it.
I need to get in the gym like Granger and Chris so I can fill it out properly.
Those jokers, I don't think they do anything but work out.
Oh, they had a video up the day. It was hilarious. It was them in the gym practicing the guitar throw, like using different things to do the motion of them throwing and Granger catching it with weights and stuff. It was so silly. They're great.
They're nuts, man.
Hey, and Granger, I watched him give a sermon the other day. He's out rocking him. I just don't know how. Talking about sleep, them boys, they maximize their sleep because they stay busy, buddy.
Well, I don't think Granger sleeps much at all. Unless he goes to bed super early. But
they said he does go down early.
I know he's up before the crack of dawn, like literally. And,
oh, yeah.
His discipline is incredible. He's got we've talked about it on podcasts with him, but he's got a show on YouTube, which is highly interesting to me. As a family guy and a dad, and basically the balance of doing what we do for a living and being heavily involved as a parent and husband and all these things. It's inspiring to me because he does it way more gracefully than I do, or at least seemingly. But anyway, that show's great on YouTube. It's called The Smiths. Check it out. And I think maybe it comes out twice a week, and it's, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. But it's kind of a glimpse into, it's kind of what we do here on the podcast. It's kind of an inside look maybe at our lives beyond the stage, and his in particular, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, he's and plus he does a podcast. Plus he does a radio show every day. Plus they have an entire apparel company that they run. They do it differently and probably better than anybody, quite honestly, as far as merch and stuff goes. And it's he and his brothers run that, and it's just. He's got something going at all times. I don't know how he does. Plus he works out all the time. It's ridiculous. Shot a movie recently. It goes on and on.
Yeah, and Chris, store manager Chris, is one of my best buddies out there on the road. He's got 4 kids. He's just go and they're out of Texas, and they have the travel schedule like me, and they just work it, man.
And I was watching an episode recently. I hadn't watched one in months, and so I had some time in between interviews the other day. So I said, let me check out what he's got going. Because somebody had mentioned coming to see us later in the year when we do those other dates. And I said, I hadn't checked in on Granger in a while. Let me see what's going on. And there was something else he was doing that I'm like, good night, man. Like, what in the... Oh, he was talking about how they were doing, like, I don't know, 12 or 15 fly dates in the next, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. And I'm like, I'd just be off. I just wouldn't do it. I mean, like he's like
a little closer to
they're
home.
They're gonna leave the day buses and the truck and the this, and they're doing them all as fly dates. How miserable would I be? But he's just got a good attitude about it. Just say that's what we're gonna do. Lee, man, I don't ever want to get off the bus and go to an airport, but I think they do it quite a bit.
We might have to get 3 drivers before we have to do all that.
Jeez. Oh, yeah. It's just not happening.
Me and you talked the other some stuff we used to would have flown. And some stuff I think back now, I'm like, how'd Joey get you to fly on that? I was like, we could have, especially some that weren't that bad. Like, how did he tell you?
Because I didn't pay no attention. He was just like, oh, yeah, we need to fly this. And you know me, I'm just like kind of, all right. And he probably wanted to.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking,
and so
I
now,
used to tell him, I'm like, why you book them so early? There ain't no reason to be there at 5 in the morning. I mean,
yeah, but you're like me. I mean, as far as schedule stuff and hate airports and being up early and the thing is, the more you do this, the more you learn too. I mean, if the difference in flying and dealing with airports, in particular right now, because I'm telling you guys, I don't know if anybody's flown recently. I mean, and I'm not saying it's people that you're dealing with at the airport's fault at all. It's just, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably half as many, and that may be a generous number, half as many pilots as needed. So
and everybody's trying to fly again now.
They're being canceled.
Dude, that's 2 weeks in, Sundays in a row for me. I missed my connector.
Yeah,
and I didn't get home till 1 in the morning. I was supposed to be home early afternoon. 2 weeks in a row, I missed my connector.
There are more restaurants, I would say, open longer now than, let's say, a year ago at this time.
Oh, for sure.
But it's still not normal and ideal. I mean, it. And so our theory is if flying, if everything goes perfectly, gets you home, let's say 3 hours earlier, it gets you home at 11 o'clock, but the bus for sure gets you home at 1:30, 2 o'clock. Well, and you don't have all the stress and the extra expense. Why not just ride the bus? And so, because I used to fly home a lot on early flights just to get home, but the more you look at it, you go, well, it's really not that much difference, really.
Right.
I mean,
and us leaving too, and that's like us leaving.
And leaving,
if we're going to fly, if our first flight's going to be 5 o'clock, or we need to get on the road at like 1, it's like, well, if we take the bus, we got a good chance of getting there. If we're flying, we're stuck in the airports, whatever they decide's going to happen with us.
And I used to fly a lot. And you and I did day of the show.
Yeah,
and we had so many close calls. I don't think we ever actually missed one, missed a show because
we had some close calls though.
We had some close calls where everything had to go absolutely perfectly.
Right,
or we just wasn't going to be there.
Yeah.
And so we decided at that point in time.
And then you're tired and stressed by the time we get there. You ain't had no rest.
Yeah, we decided at that point in time, we're like, look, we got to go if we're going to fly, we got to go the day early.
Yeah, fly
the day before the show.
Yeah.
But the latest flight out of Little Rock's 5, 6 o'clock.
Right.
And usually there ain't many places you can not make it to the show by leaving my house, because it's kind of centrally located as far as it's kind of like Nashville in a sense.
Right.
It's in the center of the country.
Right.
There's not many places you ain't gonna make it if you leave at the same time on the bus, and a lot of reasons people don't fly or do fly is because they hate riding the bus. I love riding the bus. We always say it's like a grown up treehouse or something. Like we got, food, drinks, TV, internet, drivers. We can pull over and hit a Cracker Barrel or Waffle House or whatever. I mean, it's just a lot I don't know. For us, it's more enjoyable.
And then
but
we know
everybody has their own thing.
Yeah, and we know we're under our own power too. If we get hung up and can't go, then we can pivot to go get a plane or a jet or whatever we got to do to make the show. But we're under our own power that way. And yeah, where you're at, I mean, even like us going out, we were talking about this past weekend, going out to do some shows. I know we got a show in a couple of months out in Denver and Las Vegas, and it's like, well, we're going to have to go to the airport at 5, or we can just get on the bus about noon. We get there in about, give or take, 24 hours. We'll be there about noon the next day. That's just, and that gives us 5 or 6 hours of traffic and a wreck or whatever to wiggle and still make it to an hour before the show. Then
especially now with me, with the kids being in school and their school hours changed this year. They're doing 4 days a week rather than 5 days a week, which I'm not a fan of. Personally, I'd be curious to know. We were talking about school. I meant to mention this. Is that a thing in your area? 4 days a week for public school, because this just started this year, and parents didn't really get a vote, and a lot of us are not thrilled with the idea. And they got to go like a half hour earlier and stay an hour later. So wow. It's an hour and a half longer day too. And
so
I mean, that's a lot like on a 5-year-old. No, well, they just got home.
Oh,
wow. But yeah, that's a long day, which is fine, and they get every Monday off. But
well, maybe they're just.
I don't. There's a lot of reasons I don't like it. Like for example, I have a job where I can be home with the kids every Monday. Okay, but that's unique,
right?
And what about these parents that have to work on Monday and already can't afford.
So Monday's the day they have off?
Childcare. Like, you just kind of screwed.
Oh, yeah. What do you do? A lot of people.
I mean, I don't know. I'd be curious to know if you guys have this, or you've never heard of this, or if you do it and you like it or you don't like it. I'd be curious to know.
So your kids now go Tuesday through Friday?
Yes.
So they're off on Monday. So that does help you tremendously then. So you get home on Sunday, you're still going to get Sunday night with them, and Monday for you. I mean, you'll at least get them on Monday, and so then you get back home and they take off to school.
But at the same time, I mean, like, you know, by the time they get home at 4 o'clock,
right?
Let's say they got homework, or like Ella had cheer practice. She got out of school at 4 yesterday. She had cheer practice until 6. Well, she don't get home till 6:15, eat supper, take a shower. It's damn near time to go to bed.
Right.
I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You know,
like tonight, for example, they just got home. In an hour and 15 minutes, we got to be at church.
Right.
I mean, it's just I don't know. By the time we get home, time to eat and go to bed.
Go to bed, yeah. Wash up, time to go to bed.
I don't know.
That's, especially if y'all didn't get a vote. It should have been everybody voted on whatever the majority.
No,
but that's about par for the course these days. It ain't what everybody wants. What a couple people decide.
And so, but where I was going with that, you know, if we leave at noon, for example, during the week on a Wednesday, the kids ain't gonna know any difference.
Right.
If I leave my house at 4 o'clock to catch a 5 o'clock flight or 6 o'clock or whatever, they ain't gonna see me anyway.
Right.
After going to school, so
right.
I don't know. That's the way we work it. But.
And I wonder if that's something. You know, obviously, this is conspiracy theory stuff, but I'm wondering if that's like, because they always said school was designed to train everybody to work from 9 to 5 for a factory job or this and that. I wonder if that's 4 days a week has conditioned us to eventually we'll be more like European countries where we have a better work home thing where you're only working a couple days a week and get more at home time. There's a lot that go into it. I'll tell you off the air. All right. I bet. Well, I've got one more quick question here, and then we're going to call it a day because I've got to go figure out how many Alabama guys I can put on my roster tonight. And
I got to go take a shower and get ready for church. We had Vacation Bible School this week, and so they're doing the end of VBS play or whatever. So
I was a thug, but I always loved that kind of stuff. I always loved when somebody invite me to go to Vacation Bible School and things like that. I remember going to the little church up from us Neglected. It was fun times. this came on the jrthehandler.com chat room here. And remember to put your name at the end of this because it just shows me visitor 4572. So I don't have a name on this. So hit me up and I'll say who this was next week. But I thought it was a good question. Hello, Justin Jr. I've seen you in concert 16 times, but the one that sticks out the most to me was in Louisville, Kentucky at the 4th Street Live about a week after Merle Haggard passed away in 2016. You played the show like normal, but came out for the encore and played a slew of Merle Haggard songs in tribute. It was fantastic. The coolest encore to any show I've ever seen. Thank you for that one. I've got a couple questions. First,
Oh, man. Thanks.
what would yours and JR's Mount Rushmore of songs of yours that weren't released as singles be? Mine would be There's Like There's No Tomorrow, Hank It, Running Out of Honky Tonk, and Wheels. And my second question, before you released If Heaven Wasn't So Far Away, you had a song called Heaven Ain't That Far Away. Why wasn't that ever released on an album? Thanks for entertaining podcast every week.
I'll answer the latter question first. That song I wrote prior to my first album. It was called Heaven Ain't That Far Away. It was kind of a similar type idea to Flying Down a Back Road-ish. And I wrote them about the same time. And quite honestly, I really liked the song. I still like the song. But I felt as though at the time, and I don't know, maybe enough time has passed now it wouldn't matter, but I felt as though at the time there's no way I could release and have a big hit on a song called If Heaven Wasn't So Far Away and then turn around and and it was in the same time frame, turn around and put a song out called Heaven Ain't That Far Away. I thought that was contradicting, contradictory. Maybe enough time has passed now that wouldn't matter. I don't know. Man, that's a tough question.
Lola, come here, sugar. Temporary dog. Pause for the dog. Lolo, come here, sugar. She heard somebody honk a horn outside. She's whining at the door. Lola, here.
I didn't hear her.
Justin. Lola, here. Heel. Come here, sugar. Come see Uncle Justin. Come on.
Lola girl.
Come here, Lola. Come see Uncle Justin. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come see. There he is.
I guess she can't hear me, but
Hear
Lola.
Look,
Lola girl.
It's Uncle Justin. All right, get down. We're going in a minute. Go to your bed. Go to your bed. Roll Tide. Go to your bed. Good girl.
Roll Tide.
Sorry,
Is Roll Tide instead of roll over?
Yeah, she knows what that means. It means get over there and behave.
Yeah, as far as my others, I'll spit out a few. There was one on I think it was the last album that I wrote for my kids called No One's Gonna Love You More Than Me.
Ooh,
I think it was called More Than Me.
More Than Me. Yes.
I thought that was special. There was a song I wrote for my grandmother, and when she passed, One Dirt Road was the name of it. I really liked, there was a love song we had out, or not out. It was on an album years ago. It might have been the, second album, maybe third, called That's How I Know You Love Me. I really liked that. And Outlaws Like Me. How about that?
There's some good ones there. Yeah, I'll have to agree with all those are good. Run Out of Honky Tonks I love that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hank It, obviously. Middle Class Money, I know I mentioned that a lot. That's always one of my favorites.
I always liked that song.
I did too.
And people at my record label didn't.
Well,
and I was like, I love that song.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. I always thought of that reminded me of like you and Jeremy and you guys, y'all kind of channeled your inner like Tom T. Hall, Roger Miller on that song.
Rhett wrote that.
Rhett did? Let's see, there you go. Yeah. It just sounded
I
like
thought
he
it
was
was
channeling
clever.
little Roger Miller
Super
on that
clever,
one.
man.
Yeah, me too. And then we've talked about it on here in social media, all our buddies at Whiskey Riff and Boots and Whiskey and all the different outlets have talked about this one. the Old Habits, the duet.
Oh
you did
yeah,
with
that was a
Miranda
really
Lambert.
good song.
That should have been a single, or should have been out.
Yeah.
And then That's My Boy. I thought That's My Boy would have been a I mean, there's that idea's kind of been around, but I thought that was a great take on that song and the way you sang it. I thought, and the whole thing, I thought it was a great song. But yeah, great questions there. And remember to send me your name on that. And yeah, you can use go to jrthehandler.com and on the chat page there. I check those now, or on Instagram or Twitter. At JR the Handler, at Justin Colmore. Check for JM with the blue hashtag or blue check mark on that if you're interacting with us on social media. Also, go check out the Instagram page for the Justin Moore podcast and like us on there and follow that way. Cody puts out updates, and we'll put some stuff on there from time to time, any of these releases and updates on when the podcast is going to be released and that kind of stuff, so you can check it out there. And go to justinmooremusic.com, because that's where you can look at all of our tour dates. The schedule we have up now is what we plan on playing this year. And as Justin mentioned earlier in this episode of the podcast, which is Season 4, Episode 17, we're booking shows for next year, so we'll have updates on those as they come along the pike over the next few months. So you can go ahead and get reserved tickets and get your hotel rooms locked in, all that fun stuff if you're traveling.
And guests for this podcast. I know we say that a lot, and then we'll have 5 in a row, and then we won't have any for 5 in a row, but they're coming, and just quite honestly, really big name folks.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, so
yeah, it'll be great. This is going to be good. We're going to get them locked in.
Hard to correlate artists, man. It's hard.
Well,
it's hard
even
to
us,
rein
like
us
we've
in.
said, being back at home, this is the first time we've both been at our own houses on a weekday together. In months. Yeah, it seems like it's either I'm traveling or you're traveling or y'all are on vacay or I'm off doing something. But as this drops, it'll drop on September 18th. August 18th, which will be Thursday. As this comes out this weekend, we're going to be in Sedalia, Missouri at the fair on the 20th. Y'all come see us. Next week, we're going to be in Princeton, Illinois on the 25th, New Haven, Connecticut on the 26th, and Stockbridge, Georgia on the 27th. The Stockbridge, Georgia show, I'm excited about that. That's just south of Atlanta, and that is where Grice is from. It's where his family all originated,
nice.
south of Atlanta there. It's a new amphitheater. I'm excited to play that one. And then the next week, we're doing a show on Wednesday, the 31st of August in Fort Drum, New York at the military base there. But it is also for you don't have to be military to come. It's for general public and get tickets and come to that as well. But it's a big military event, and it's going to be really fun. I know I just sent off all our paperwork because we had to have clearance and all that stuff. And looking through everybody's driver's licenses in a group of 20-something people like that, it looks like it might as well be a mug shots of everybody.
Oh yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, it's always fun playing stuff not only aligned with military, but military bases themselves, and you never feel safer than on a military base, or at least I don't. And I don't know. There's just a special feeling. And
I don't know what
there's so many around, people who serve there, and I don't know, there's something neat about it to me.
And I don't know our time parameters on this yet, because we're just getting the preliminary stuff, because nowadays we don't advance out 2 months ahead like we used to. It's usually just a few weeks these days. But I know on these shows in the past, when we've done these, you've played long shows on these sometimes, and I remember one in particular in South Carolina where afterwards we basically did a meet and greet for 4,000 people that were in attendance that night, and for 6 hours. But when the juices get going and you're on that and you feel that energy, and you see the boys and girls in their unis, and we
went out and literally signed thousands of autographs. That night.
But it was but never got tired either, because everyone you want to meet them. It's just like you want to be there, you want to do it.
All that they do for us, they put their lives on the line for us, so it's the least we could have done. But yeah, that was a nice 10, 12-hour day.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, then to finish up, just rattling off some dates here. The first weekend in September, we're going to be in Lafayette, Indiana on the 2nd, and Loves Park, Illinois on the 3rd, leading up to Labor Day weekend. And then we're going to have a weekend off, and then we go out to Montana on the 15th of September, 16th September in Butte, and the 17th in Spokane, Washington. So y'all and those are the Granger shows. So Billings, Montana on the 15th of September, Butte, Montana on the 16th of September, Spokane, Washington on the 17th of September. Those will be us with our buddy Granger Smith. What's up, T-South?
My audio probably stopped because he knocked my earbud out. Hold on.
You see me, Sal?
Can hear me.
No.
Hey, buddy.
Hold on.
Bye.
Check.
Hi.
Hold on. He knocked my earbud out. We're back, I think, aren't we?
I can hear you, yeah.
So he can hear it. So
What up, Sal?
this is South, everybody. Watching, listening. You say
What's
hey.
up, buddy?
Hi.
How was
Hey,
school?
buddy.
Good. But I want to go with Mama.
You want to go
No,
with
you
Mom?
No.
Don't mess with
I'm saying.
South,
I'm
I
going to
was
church.
looking to see what kind of toys I had around here. I used to have some fun stuff back here, but I don't have any that I can reach right now. But I had some of my Transformers. Oh, I got to show you this, Sal. Stay there.
I told everybody watching and listening you did not want to go to school today, did you? You wanted to stay with who?
Yeah.
Huh?
You.
Did you have a good day?
Yeah.
Did you go to PE?
No.
You smell like a dirty little puppy dog. Oh goodness.
Who am I, Sal?
Oh. What? Can I see the Transformers? Hi.
can't find them. I think I ate them. I Hulk smashed them.
Hulk smash.
gave them the Hulk smash.
Oh,
I'm going to Mom.
Hulk smash. All right. Well, tell everybody bye.
No,
Wave
it's just
every-
me. It's just JR.
Wave.
Bye.
Bye, buddy. I'll see you in a few days. You going on the bus with us, right?
Yeah.
All right, love you.
All right, buddy. Well,
man.
thanks for everybody for tuning in this week. We appreciate you always. That's Justin Moore. I'm JR the Handler. Come back and see us next week here on the Justin Moore Podcast. And come out on the road and see us at a show. Like I said, we've got those coming up. We've got a bunch more for the years out. Good times out there. Come see us.
Nice little Southie surprise at the end. He looked like he had a better day than yesterday. So maybe I'll have a better one tomorrow.
There you go. Pray for all the moms and dads out there and the young ones. Thank
See
y'all.
you
We'll see
guys.
y'all next
Thanks.
week here on the Justin Moore Podcast.
This episode was brought to you by Bobcat. Check them out at bobcat.com.
For any of you first-time listeners out there, at the end of each of our episodes, I like to do a little reading out of a book I've had that I've got a lot of use out of over the years. The book is by Mr. Charlie Daniels, and the book is called Let's All Make the Day Count, The Everyday Wisdom of Charlie Daniels. Number 50, increments. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Zechariah 4:10. How many stories have you heard about a mega business that somebody started in their garage with a push cart or just in their homes, beginning with nothing more than an idea? It might be a gap in the marketplace that needs filling, a way of delivering goods that nobody has thought about, or just a way of improving a product or service. I remember when I first formed the band, we didn't have the equipment we needed. There were no amplifiers, instruments, road cases, or transportation. Our record company rented us 2 vans, one for equipment and one for people. We had no air conditioning and no way of stretching out except to lie on the floor. But it still beat a car and a trailer. We played through amplifiers that squeaked and squalled and broke down from time to time. One night, a band member sat down in the wrong place and turned the only fiddle I had into splinters. But believing that we had something unique to offer, we kept going. We were always conscious of doing a good show, writing and recording good songs, slowly building a following, and little by little being able to get the caliber of equipment and transportation we needed. It has been many years since those days, but they were the foundation for the invaluable experience, battles won, and staying the course. Small beginnings are the seeds for better things to come. Never laugh at someone with an obsession and a radical idea, no matter how humble his circumstances. One day, you could well be asking him or her for a job. Let's all make the day count.